A scream tore through the clinic hallway before Sophia even realized it was hers. She slammed the door shut behind her, chest heaving, heart pounding so violently she could feel it in her throat. The men had dropped a bleeding stranger on the examination table. Bleeding, unconscious, and dangerously familiar. She pressed her back against the door, covered her mouth, and whispered a prayer she hadn't said in years. No. No, no. It can't be him. But she knew, even before she forced herself to look again. Even before she turned on the bright overhead light and saw the dark tattoos snaking across his ribs, the same ones she had traced with trembling fingers 7 years ago. Even before she saw the scar over his left brow, the one he got saving her life. Dante Valerio, the man the news always called the Devil of the South, the man whose name made entire cities whisper, the man she once loved, the man she ran from. And now, he was in her clinic, in her town, on her table, bleeding, breathing, alive. Why did you bring him here? She had shouted at the men who dropped him off, but they had only muttered something about an ambush and sped off before she could question them further. She forced herself closer to the table. She needed to stop the bleeding, fast. Medical instinct overtook panic. Her hands steadied, her breath grew even. She grabbed gloves, gauze, alcohol, and stitched him as quickly as she could. His body jerked once under the needle. She froze, needle hovering in the air. Dante? Dante? No response, just a ragged breath and a pained groan. She pressed the gauze harder. Don't wake up. Not yet, please. Because if he woke up and recognized her, the life she built, the safety she'd fought for, the twins she'd raised alone, everything would crumble in a second. After nearly 30 minutes of stitching, cleaning, and stabilizing, she stepped back, trembling. She needed him gone before the twins returned from school. She needed him conscious enough to leave, but not enough to ask questions. She checked his pulse again. Strong, steady, too steady. A deep voice cracked the air. Sophia? Her blood froze. His eyes opened, dark, sharp, and burning through her like a spotlight. She tried to step back. His fingers curled around her wrist. Even weak, his grip was iron. You're real, his voice rasped, broken with pain. I thought I'd never see you again. Her breath stuttered. Dante, don't. You shouldn't be talking. What happened to me? You were ambushed. I treated you. You should rest. His fingers tightened slightly. You're shaking. I'm fine. You're lying. His eyes scanned her face, searching, piercing. Why are you afraid of me? Before she could respond, the clinic door burst open. Mom, where? Sophia spun around. Stop! Don't! Too late. Liam and Liana stood frozen in the doorway, staring wide-eyed at the man on the table. Dante stared back at them, brows pulling together in confusion. And then... Dad! Both twins shouted at the same time. Sophia felt the world tilt, her knees nearly giving out. Dante's eyes widened like someone had slapped him awake. The raw shock on his face was unmistakable. He lifted himself slightly, ignoring the pain. What did they just say? His voice was low, dangerous. Sophia grabbed the twins, pushing them behind her. Kids, outside now. But Mom, now. The twins ran out reluctantly. Sophia swallowed hard and turned back to Dante. His eyes weren't confused anymore. They were sharp, burning, calculating, like a man adding up 7 years of missing pieces in a single breath. Are they mine? He demanded. Sophia's lips parted, but no sound came out. Answer me. The deadly softness in his tone was worse than yelling. She forced the words out. Yes. A long, breaking silence filled the room. Dante stared at the doorway where the twins had disappeared. Something flickered in his eyes, pain, fury, disbelief, something dangerous enough to crack the air around him. "How old are they?" he asked quietly. 7. His jaw clenched, his hand curled into a fist. His entire body trembled, not from pain but rage. "You left me," he whispered, "without telling me." "If you had known," she said, voice shaking, "you would have taken them. You would have dragged them into your war." He slammed a hand against the metal rail of the bed so hard the entire frame rattled. "They are my blood, Sophia. And they were safer without you. You don't get to decide that. And you don't get to drag them into your darkness." His eyes snapped to hers, wounded, furious, betrayed. "You thought keeping them from me was protection?" Dante's voice was raw. "You stole 7 years of their life, 7 years of mine." Sophia's eyes filled with tears she fought to keep down. "I did what I had to do. You were at war with every cartel, every Mafia family, every law enforcement agency. They would have used the kids against you. And now?" he said. "Now they just walk in and call me Dad like it's the most normal thing in the world." Sophia covered her face. "They saw a photo. Years ago. Before I burned everything, they remembered your face." Dante stared at her for a long, silent moment. Then he slowly tried to sit up. "Dante, don't. You'll rip your stitches." "I'm not staying here. Bring the kids. We're talking. Now." "You are not seeing them until you calm down," Sophia snapped. He met her eyes with a darkness that sent a chill down her spine. "Sophia, listen very carefully." His voice dropped to a cold whisper. "I am calm. Too calm. And that is the only reason this building is still standing." Her throat tightened. "Bring my children." Before she could answer, a hard bang echoed outside the clinic. Tires screeching, doors slamming, men yelling. Dante's entire body tensed. "That's not my men," he said. Sophia's heart dropped. "Then who?" "Enemies," Dante gritted. "They found me." He tried to stand, but collapsed halfway. Sophia ran to him instinctively, slinging his arm over her shoulders. "We need to get the kids," she whispered. Dante's voice was low, deadly. "We protect them first, then we run." Gunshots cracked outside. The twins screamed, and everything changed forever. Gunfire shattered the quiet street, sending birds scattering into the sky. Sophia's heart slammed against her ribs as she dragged Dante toward the hallway. The twins were huddled against the wall, covering their ears, eyes wide with fear. "Mom!" Liam cried. "Stay behind me," she said, pushing them back. "Don't look outside." Dante gritted his teeth and forced himself upright, leaning heavily on the wall. Even injured, there was something terrifyingly steady about him. A man who had survived ambushes, wars, betrayal, and wasn't willing to fall today. "How many?" he asked. Sophia peeked through a crack in the curtains. 2 black SUVs. At least 6 armed men, all wearing symbols she recognized from Dante's nightmares. "Too many," she whispered. Dante reached for a scalpel on a tray beside him. It looked pathetic in his hand, like a toy against real weapons, but his eyes sharpened. "I need a gun." "You're barely standing," she snapped. He gave her a dark smirk, even through the pain. "I've won wars in worse condition. Now find me something." Sophia bit back a frustrated curse. She opened the cabinet behind the emergency kit and pulled out a small black case. Inside was a Glock 19 she had hidden years ago. Dante stared at it, then at her. "You kept a weapon." "Because I knew one day your world might find me." Her hands shook. "And here it is." He took the gun and chambered a round with muscle memory, so fast the twins jumped. "Stay behind me," Dante said, stepping forward. Sophia pulled the children close. "No, Dante, please. You're hurt. Let's sneak out the back." A bullet punched through the window, shattering glass all over the floor. Dante grabbed Sophia and the twins, dragging them to the ground as shards rained over them. "Do you trust me?" he whispered harshly. Sophia looked into his eyes, dark, furious, unbroken, eyes she once trusted with her life, eyes she once loved. "Yes," she breathed, hating herself for it. "Then run when I say run." Footsteps pounded toward the front door. Dante limped forward, gun raised, blood trailing behind him. Every step looked like agony, but he kept moving. The door burst open, and 3 gunmen rushed inside. Dante fired twice. 2 men dropped instantly. The third fired back, grazing Dante's shoulder. Sophia screamed, but Dante didn't stop. He shot again, hitting the man in the leg, bringing him down. He turned to Sophia. "Now!" She grabbed the twins and sprinted toward the back exit. Dante followed, but his breath grew ragged, his steps shaky. Outside, the alley was empty, but more men shouted nearby. Sophia shoved the twins into the car, hands trembling. "Get in!" she yelled. Dante opened the passenger door but stumbled. Sophia caught him. "Dante, stay awake." He gripped her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Drive. Don't slow down. Understand?" She nodded. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she wiped them with shaking fingers. She jumped into the driver's seat and slammed the door. The tires screeched. The car shot forward. Liana sobbed from the back seat. "Mommy, what's happening?" Sophia couldn't answer. Liam clung to his sister tightly, his small voice shaking. "Is Daddy okay?" Sophia's chest fractured at the question. "He will be," she whispered, though she wasn't sure it was true. Dante slumped in the seat, his head leaning back, blood seeping through his shirt again. Sophia glanced at him. "Stay with me." He forced his eyes open, gripping the dashboard. "There's a warehouse, 2 miles south. My men know it. Go." She sped through the empty roads like a ghost was chasing them. Because one was. Dante's breathing grew shallow. His hand slipped from the dashboard. "Dante! Dante!" He blinked slowly, his voice slurred. "They weren't supposed to find me. Someone betrayed my location." "Save your strength," she begged. He ignored her. "Sophia, if I pass out, don't stop driving. And don't let anyone take the kids, not even my men, until I confirm them." "Why not your men?" she cried. "Because I don't know who I can trust anymore." The weight of those words hit her harder than the gunshots. Liam leaned forward. "Mom, is he dying?" "No," Sophia said fiercely. "He's just tired. He'll be okay." Dante let out a breath that sounded like a laugh mixed with pain. "You lie just like before." The car turned onto a narrow dirt road leading toward the old warehouse grounds. Sophia slowed just enough to avoid crashing. "Almost there," she whispered. Dante suddenly stiffened. "Car behind us." Sophia's heart dropped. She looked in the mirror. 2 headlights were speeding toward them. "They found us!" she cried. Dante tried to lift the gun, but his arm trembled. Sophia gripped the wheel tightly. "Hold on." She swerved left, then right, tires kicking up dust. The pursuing car sped up. "Faster," Dante said, voice barely audible. "I'm trying." Gunfire erupted behind them. A bullet cracked the rear windshield. The twins screamed, ducking down. Sophia's chest burned with fear and fury. "Nobody hurts my children," she hissed. She slammed the brakes. The pursuing car flew forward, overshooting them by several meters. Dante stared at her, stunned. "You're insane. You're welcome. Drive." She hit the gas again, speeding past the disoriented attackers. They reached the warehouse gates. Sophia rammed the car through the rusted entrance as the pursuing vehicle regained control behind them. Sophia jerked to a stop near the old delivery bay. "Out!" Dante barked. The twins scrambled out. Sophia grabbed their hands, running toward the warehouse door. The black SUV skidded to a halt behind them. 3 gunmen jumped out. Dante turned, lifted the gun with his last ounce of strength, and fired repeatedly until all 3 hit the ground. Then he dropped to his knees. "Dante!" Sophia screamed. She rushed toward him, catching him before he fell fully. His eyes fluttered. "Sophia, keep them safe until I wake up. Don't let anyone touch them." Then he went completely still in her arms. Sophia's breath shattered. Liana sobbed into her chest. Liam wrapped his arms around her waist, crying, "No, no, no. Dante, stay with me." But his body was limp. The warehouse door suddenly swung open. Men in black tactical gear poured out. Sophia shielded the twins with her body. A tall man stepped forward, lowering his gun. "Ma'am." His voice cracked slightly. "We're Valerio's men." Sophia's heart hammered. "Prove it!" The man reached into his vest slowly and pulled out Dante's signet ring. "He called us before the ambush. He told us to find him before his enemies did. Please, give him to us. We need to save his life." Sophia hesitated, chest rising and falling rapidly. "Trust him," whispered Liam. Sophia looked down at Dante, broken, unconscious, bleeding out. She nodded. "Help him." The men lifted Dante carefully and rushed him inside the warehouse. Sophia held the twins close as they followed, her heart pounding with one truth echoing in her mind. Whether Dante lived or died, nothing would ever be the same again. Inside the warehouse, harsh white lights flickered on, illuminating a space that looked more like a hidden military base than anything connected to a Mafia lord. Steel tables, medical crates, weapons stacked in cases, surveillance screens. Dante had always been prepared for war. Sophia felt a spike of anger mixed with fear. This was the world she escaped from, and now her children were standing in the middle of it. Dante's men placed him on an operating table, barking orders to each other. "Get the IV bags! He's losing too much blood. Move! Where is the surgeon?" A man in medical scrubs sprinted over, pulling on gloves. I'm here. Step aside." Sophia couldn't breathe. She clutched the twins close, her fingers digging into their small shoulders. "Mom," Liana whispered, her voice small and cracked. "Is Daddy going to die?" Sophia knelt, pulling her daughter against her chest. "He'll fight. That's what your father does best. He always fights to come back." Liam wiped his nose with his sleeve. But he was bleeding so much, and he didn't wake up. Sophia wanted to break down, but she forced herself to stay steady. "Listen to me. Your father is strong, stronger than anyone I've ever known. He's going to try with everything he has." The surgeon's voice cut through the tense air. "Pressure's dropping." Sophia flinched. One of Dante's men turned to her. He looked barely older than mid-20s, but his eyes carried heavy loyalty. "He'll make it, ma'am," he said confidently. "The boss doesn't die easy." She swallowed hard. "I need to know who betrayed him. Why did they come after us?" The man's jaw tightened. "We don't know yet, but someone close set him up. Only his inner circle knew his location. Someone he trusted." Liam whispered, "But why would they hurt Daddy?" Sophia stroked his cheek. "People hurt powerful men, baby, especially when they want to take their power." Suddenly, the warehouse doors burst open again. Sophia tensed, pulling the twins behind her, ready to throw herself over them. 3 more men rushed in, but these ones didn't look like Dante's soldiers. They were terrified, breathing fast, clothes bloodstained. Boss's convoy was ambushed, one shouted. We barely made it. We think... His voice cracked. We think this is bigger than just an attack. Someone declared war on Valerio territory. Sophia's stomach twisted. War. Exactly what she ran from. The surgeon hovered over Dante. His heart is unstable. I need silence. Everyone froze, even the armed men. Sophia felt every second stretch into agony. She prayed silently, gripping both her children, as if holding them grounded. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the surgeon exhaled heavily. He's stabilizing, but he needs rest. A lot of it. Sophia's eyes filled with tears she didn't dare release. Liana squeezed her hand tightly. Can we see him? Liam whispered. Sophia looked at the surgeon. He sighed. Make it brief. Sophia led the twins toward the table. Dante lay motionless, his breathing shallow but steady. His face looked pale, drained, unfamiliar without the fire in his eyes. The twins reached the side of the table hesitantly. Liana touched his hand gently. Daddy, we're here. Don't leave us, okay? Liam climbed onto the stool and leaned forward. Mom says you fight, so keep fighting. Please. Sophia watched her children talk to a man they barely knew, yet instinctively trusted. Her throat tightened painfully. Heaven help her. They already loved him. Footsteps approached behind her. Ma'am, said the tall lieutenant who had spoken earlier. We need to talk. It's urgent. Sophia kissed the twins' heads. Stay with him. Don't move. They nodded. She followed the lieutenant toward a corner of the warehouse. He lowered his voice. There's something you should know. Before the ambush, Boss told one of us something strange. Sophia frowned. Strange how? He said... The man hesitated. He said if anything happened to him, we were to prioritize you and the children first. Sophia's breath hitched. He said that? Yes. And he gave us this. The lieutenant handed her a folded note. Her hands trembled as she opened it. If they ever find me, protect Sophia and the twins first, no matter the cost. Sophia's vision blurred. He had known. Somehow he had always known she would matter again. Her heart squeezed painfully. She steadied herself. What else? The lieutenant's expression hardened. We did a sweep of the area around the clinic. The men who attacked weren't just random hitmen. Then who were they? She whispered. They belonged to the Martez Syndicate. Sophia's heart stopped. Martez? They were the ones who... Yes, he said grimly. The same men Dante went to war with years ago. The same men who tried to kill you. Sophia's knees nearly buckled. Why are they after him again? They're not after him, the lieutenant said. Not just him. Sophia swallowed. Then who? You and the twins. Sophia's blood ran cold. Why? The lieutenant hesitated before answering. Because now that they know Valerio has heirs, they'll use the children to break him. Sophia's breath shattered. God, no! They're already hunting for them, the man continued. We intercepted comms. They want to take the twins alive. Sophia felt her vision sway. A deep, primal fear rose in her chest. Not her children, not her babies. She grabbed the lieutenant's vest. Then we need to leave. We need somewhere safe. We'll move soon, he said. But there's something else. Sophia clenched her fists. What now? A tracker was found on Boss's vehicle. Sophia shook her head. Meaning? Meaning the betrayal is close. Very close. Someone within Valerio's inner circle wants the kids just as badly as Martez. Sophia stared at the warehouse door, mind spinning, heart racing. Someone Dante trusted wanted her children. Someone inside this warehouse might be waiting for the perfect moment. The lieutenant's voice dropped even lower. "Sophia, we don't know who to trust. Until Boss wakes up, we're blind." Sophia looked back at her twins sitting beside Dante. Liana holding his hand, Liam watching over him. Her children were no longer safe anywhere. Her world was collapsing again. But this time she wasn't running, not without fighting, not without making sure Dante lived to see the children he almost died protecting. She turned to the lieutenant, her voice cold with newfound steel. "Tell your men to be ready, because if anyone touches my children, I will burn this whole world down." Sophia's knees shook as she followed Dante's men deeper into the warehouse. The twins clung to her hands, small bodies trembling, faces pale with fear. She had to keep them calm. She had to act like she knew what was happening, even though every second her heart screamed danger. Dante lay on the operating table, still unconscious. Machines beeped steadily, his chest rising and falling in a slow rhythm. Sophia sank onto a chair beside him, brushing a loose strand of hair from his forehead. "Please, stay with us," she whispered. "Please don't leave me. Don't leave them." The twins peeked around her shoulders. Liana whispered, "Mom, is he going to wake up?" Sophia swallowed the lump in her throat. "Yes, baby. He's strong. He's our protector. He's going to fight." Minutes stretched like hours. Then Dante's hand twitched. Sophia gasped. He blinked once, then slowly opened his eyes. They were dim at first, unfocused, then sharp, deadly, burning with recognition. "Sophia," his voice was a hoarse whisper. "My kids?" She nodded. "They're here. They're safe, I promise." Dante tried to sit up but faltered. Sophia and two men steadied him. "Don't move too fast," she said firmly. "You need your strength." He took a shaky breath. "They called me Dad?" His voice cracked. "They called me Dad?" "Yes," Sophia said softly. "They knew you. Somehow, they remembered you." Dante's jaw clenched, and for a moment his face twisted with a mixture of rage and something softer, awe, disbelief, and something that resembled love. "I lost. 7 years?" "Yes," Sophia whispered. "But you're here now. That's what matters." A sudden noise cut through the moment, shouting, metal clanging. Sophia's head whipped toward the sound. "Enemies!" Dante said flatly, instantly alert. "They never stop." Sophia's heart hammered. "We need to move them. The twins. They can't be here when they attack." Dante struggled to his feet, swaying, blood seeping through his shirt. "They'll have to go through me first." Sophia nodded, gripping his hand tightly. "Then we make sure you stay alive to protect them." Outside the warehouse, the sound of engines and shouts grew louder. Men were trying to breach the gates. Dante swayed, then straightened, gripping the gun again. His eyes were cold, precise, terrifying. "Liam, Liana," he said, voice steady despite the pain. "Stay close to Mommy. Do not leave her side. Understand?" The twins nodded, wide-eyed but obedient. "Run!" Dante barked. Sophia grabbed the twins, and Dante leaned on the men for support, walking backward to cover them. Bullets pinged off metal walls, shattering windows. Shards rained down around them. They reached the back exit. Sophia shoved the twins toward the door. "Go! Go now!" Dante raised his gun and fired rapidly. 2 attackers dropped. A third tried to flank him, and he fired again. The warehouse shook from explosions outside. Sophia scooped up Liana and ran with Liam, dragging them toward the car parked in the alley. Dante's voice cut through the chaos. "Drive!" She slammed into the driver's seat and started the engine. The tires squealed, dust and smoke clouding the narrow alley. She glanced at the rearview mirror. Dante limped into view, firing as they sped away. The twins' faces were pale, hands clutching hers tightly. Liam whispered, "Mom, he's amazing. He's like a superhero." Sophia swallowed hard. "He is, baby. But superheroes can get hurt too." Dante's silhouette grew smaller in the distance as he covered their retreat. Sophia's heart ached with a fierce mix of fear and admiration. Minutes later, they reached a secluded safe house Dante had mentioned briefly in a whispered phone call he somehow made before collapsing. Sophia parked and quickly ushered the twins inside. Dante entered, leaning heavily on two men, eyes scanning the surroundings. "Are they safe?" "Yes," Sophia said firmly. "They're fine. We're safe, for now." Dante sank into a chair, closing his eyes briefly. "We're not safe for long," he said quietly. "They'll come again." Liam stepped forward, small fists clenched. "Then we fight, right, Dad?" Sophia froze. Dante opened his eyes slowly, looking at the boy. Then Liana stepped up. "Yes, we fight with you." Dante's chest rose with a deep, ragged laugh, half pain, half pride. "You're brave, just like your mother," he said, then glanced at Sophia. His gaze softened. "And you still think I'll destroy everything you've built?" "I'm not wrong," Sophia muttered, though her voice lacked conviction. He leaned closer, eyes fierce but tender. "Not everything," he said. "I've always wanted to protect you, them, my family. And now, I will." The safe house trembled slightly as a distant explosion echoed. Sophia gripped Dante's arm. He looked at her, calm, deadly calm. "We survive this together. No one touches my family. Do you understand me?" "Yes," she whispered. "Then we prepare," he said. "And we fight, if we have to." Hours passed. Plans were made, weapons checked. The twins slept, exhausted. Sophia stayed close to Dante, brushing a hand over his brow. His breathing was steady now, his hand brushing hers lightly. "You scared me," she said softly. He squeezed her hand. "I know, and I'll do whatever it takes to never let them get you again. Or them." The first rays of dawn broke over the horizon. The world outside was dangerous, unforgiving, and full of enemies. But inside there was a fragile calm. Sophia watched Dante, then the twins, and felt a surge of hope. Somehow they had survived. Somehow they were together. Dante finally spoke again, voice quiet but resolute. "We rebuild. No running, no hiding. We face everything. Together." Sophia nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Together. The twins stirred, rubbing their eyes. Liana blinked up at Dante. "Mommy, can we call him Dad now?" Sophia smiled through tears. "Yes, you can." Dante's eyes softened, a rare smile flickering. He leaned over and pulled the twins into a gentle embrace. "I'll always be your dad," he whispered. "Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share your thoughts on this story, because your contributions keeps us going every single day."